All right, if you haven't found your notes yet from yesterday, you need to go to page 24. So if you remember, we started in class yesterday the surface area of prisms and cylinders. So we need to finish up with two more ideas. The first deals with composite figures, and the second deals with what happens when we triple or change dimensions. So when you're thinking of composite figures, you need to think about surfaces. What surfaces are showing and what surfaces are not showing. So when you look at this picture right here, I see a triangular prism and a rectangular prism. Now, if I add the two prisms together, that will give me all of the surfaces, including the two surfaces that are missing. So what I have here, if you look at this top triangular prism, I have a triangular prism. Now the bases are the triangle in the front and the triangle in the back. And actually if I use this net right here, so in my triangular prism, I have the bases. But the way it's sitting, if you look at the picture again, I am missing the bottom. Well, the word bottom probably isn't the best word. I am missing one of the rectangles along the side. So when I look at this particular prism, if I look at it this direction, I am missing one of these rectangles. So I need to take that away from my calculation. So if I do a triangular prism, but I'm going to subtract out the area of a rectangle. So if I do that, that will capture the whole thing with the exception of that rectangle. And then I need to add to it, I have another rectangular prism, but I'm missing the top. So I'm going to do the surface area of the rectangular prism, but I'm going to take away another rectangle. Okay, so I've got top rectangular prism minus the rectangle here, and then I have the bottom, I have a top triangular prism minus the rectangle and the bottom prism minus the top one. So let's do the triangular prism. So to do the triangular prism, I'm doing 2b plus ph. So my bases are my triangles, and I have 3 right here, and I have a 4 right here. So the area of my, I'm going to actually write it into the formula. So my capital B is going to be the formula 1/2, I'm not going to use a parenthesis, 1/2 times the base times the height. So times 4 times 3. Okay, so that's capital B plus perimeter. Perimeter is 3 plus 4 plus something back here. Well, I need to do Pythagorean theorem. So if I do 3 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared, this is one of our common triples that you might have memorized. So I'm doing 9 plus 16 is c squared. 9 plus 16 is 25, and when I square root that, I get 5. So I know that 5 is the hypotenuse of that triangle. So when I do perimeter, my perimeter is 3 plus 4 plus 5, and then the height of my prism is 2. Remember, the height is how far apart are these triangles, times 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and calculate that. So I'm going to do, if I do half of 4, I get 2, and 2 times 3 is 6. So 6 times 2 is going to be 12 there. And then when I add these, I get 9, 10, 11, 12, and that will be 24. So that would be 36. So the triangle, the whole prism is 36. But remember, I need to take away the area of this rectangle right here. And this rectangle is 4 by 2. This 2 goes right here. So I need to take away an 8. Okay. Now I want to do the entire rectangular prism here. So I'm going to do surface area of this prism. So again, I'm doing 2b plus ph. So that's going to be 2 times. So the area of my base is going to be 4 times 2, that's 8. And the perimeter is 4 plus 2 plus 4 plus 2. So that's going to be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then my prism that I'm doing is 3 centimeters tall. So that's going to be 16, and then I'm going to add 36. So the surface area of my rectangular prism is 52, but I need to take away another rectangle that's covered, and that again is going to be 8. So I'm doing 36 minus 8 plus 52 minus 8. So 36 minus 8 plus 52 minus 8. So my surface area here is 72 centimeters squared. So you really need to think in terms of what pieces do I have and which ones are missing. Okay, so let's look at the next one. The next one, I have a full prism and a cylinder, but when the cylinder sits on top of the prism, I'm missing the bottom of the cylinder, and then the cylinder is covering up the same size circle on top of my prism. So what I have here is I have a prism plus a cylinder minus 2 circles. I have the full prism, the full circle, or the full prism, the full cylinder, and I have the circle from the bottom of the cylinder missing, and a circle on top of the prism is also missing. So my prism is 2b plus pH. So the base is 9 times 4. So 2 times 36. Perimeter 9 and 4 and 9 and 4. So that's 26. And then how tall is your prism? It's 5 centimeters. So that's going to be 2 times 36 plus 26 times 5. So the prism itself is 202. Okay. Cylinder is going to be the 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. So that is going to be 2 times pi. My radius is 2. And then 2 times pi, again my radius is 2 and my height is 3. So since I'm going to round to the nearest tenth, I'm going to go ahead and multiply pi in. And if you have a scientific calculator, you can enter this whole thing. So I can do 2 times pi times 2 squared plus 2 times pi times 2 times 3. So I'm going to call that 62.83. And then remember, I have 2 circles. So I need to do 2 pi r squareds. So that would be 2 times pi times 2 squared. So 2 times pi times 4, basically. So I need to take away about 25.13. So I'm going to do 202 plus 62.83 minus 25.13. So I get a surface area of approximately 239.7 centimeters squared. Now, if you didn't multiply pi until the very end, we might have a slightly different answer. But I really challenge you on these composite ones. These are really tricky. I challenge you to think about what do I have and what is missing. Okay, let's finish up with the dimensions changing. Okay, so if we have, let's see, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have us go ahead and calculate the original amount and then the new amount. So I'm going to do an original surface area. So we're going to say the edge length, the question is, the edge length of a cube is tripled. Describe the effect on surface area. So I'm going to do my original, and then I'm going to do my new surface area after I've tripled it. So this is a prism or a cube. So I'm going to do 2b plus pH. So I'm going to do 2 times 8 is 64. So this is like the one we did yesterday. Perimeter is going to be 8 times 4, so 32. And then since it's a cube, everything's 8, so it's also, the height is 8. So 2 times 64 plus 32 times 8. So my original one is 384. So my new surface area, when I triple my dimensions, so 8 times 3, that's tripling, my new side length is 24. So I need to redo that. So if I write 24 down here, everything turns into a 24. So 2 times the base, well, the area of the base is 24 times 24. So that is 576. Perimeter would be 24 plus 24 plus 24 plus 24. So I'm going to do 24 times 4, 96. And then height is also 24 because it's a cube. So I get 2 times 576 plus 96 times 24, and I get 3456. Now remember, to see the change, it's going to be new divided by old. So I'm going to do 3456 divided by 384, and I get 9. So the surface area is, I'm going to put multiplied by 9. I'm just going to kind of circle that. And we can kind of talk about why that is, but it's probably easier to just go ahead and do one to the other. All right, so I want you to try 10 on your own. I want you to do both surface areas and then do, of course, take half of the dimensions and let's check out what you get. So I want you to pause it and then come back when you're done. Okay, so I'm going to do original and new. So I'm going to do 2 pi plus 2 pi 11 and 14. So I'm going to leave it in terms of pi. So 2 times 11 squared plus. So that I am going to have here 550 pi. So I'm going to do everything by half. So that means my diameter is going to be 11, and that's going to be 7. So my new surface area, my radius is 5.5 plus 2 pi 5.5 times 7. That's 2 times 5.5 times 7. So my new is 137.5 pi. So I want to do a new divided by old. So 137.5 pi divided by 550 pi. Of course, my pi's are going to cancel, so that's why I left it in terms of pi. So I get 0.25. So when I take half the dimensions, it's 0.25. So the surface area is multiplied by 1/4. So it's just like what we did on the last section, last week, only with surface area. Okay, so I want you to practice this with your assignment. If you get stuck, just go as far as you can. Write down the formula and plug in your numbers, and we'll discuss it from there.